Hi guys, it's Jackie here from beautyandthewifelife.com. I hope that you're doing well. I wanted to do this video for a little while now. I want to talk about how to get along with your partner during quarantine and during lockdown. Now, I feel like I should have done this like at the beginning, but honestly, I feel like I've just about started to find my feet. So either you guys are all having fun and it's all fun and games for you at the moment, or it is not the best situation. So I just wanted to take a bit of time and just give you my little nuggets of advice on getting along with your partner in the quarantine lockdown situation. I thought I'd give my little advice and my little top tips of getting along with your partner in quarantine. I tried to do this video with Kesh, seriously, because I was like, it would be good to have like a man's perspective on things. Obviously, my husband cannot take anything really seriously. We actually filmed a little quarantine chat video, which is already up on my IGTV if you want to go and check that out. So I thought what I'll do is I'll sit down and do a better version of that, and just a bit more of a formal version where we can have a bit of a chit chat, girl to girl, girl to guy, you know. The real reason why I decided to do this video is like, I've been seeing a lot of predictions that people are making, like divorce rates are going to go up in the next couple of months, and I've actually seen some horrific statistics on like how many domestic violence calls have come in since this lockdown and quarantine has happened. And it's just so scary that this is the case. I'm not talking about those kind of situations. I'm not talking about when your marriage is like completely at the rocks or your relationship is at the rocks or a domestic violence situation. I'm not in the position to talk about that, so please don't think that that is what I'm advising on. But that is kind of just what's triggered me to be like, how can you avoid arguments during this time? Honestly, it's like, I feel like this situation is like a hotbed for arguments. It's so easy to just go off on one. Like right now, for me, I go from like 0 to 100 so quickly in terms of anger. It's unreal. And I think that's just because of the situation that we're in at the moment. First things first is have some sort of a schedule to be separate from one another. That whole saying that distance makes the heart grow fonder is a saying for a reason. I go to work, Kesh goes to work. Like when couples go to work during the day, it's like a time of separation. So when they come home in the evenings, it's nice. You embrace, like you spend time in the evening together, you have dinner together. It's just a really, really nice way of couples to like really connect, because you're like, oh, I haven't seen you all day. Oh, I've been with my colleagues all day. Or I've had a really, really stressful day at work. Like coming home to your partner is kind of like that break. You don't get that at the moment. So what Kesh and I have decided to do, and which was working really, really well for us, is that we have separate spaces of work. We do not work together in the day. Both of us have very heavy schedules. He teaches online versus my conference calls. We're very, very respectful of each other's space. I don't leave my things in his space, like my laptop or anything that is to do with my work, my workbooks. Nothing to do with my work is left in his space, and vice versa. It's good to spend a good amount of time away from one another, because it's actually really, really nice. Like gives that feeling of, okay, right, we're gonna go and have lunch. Let's all go and have lunch together. Okay, we're gonna have dinner now. Like we've spent like 6 hours in separate rooms doing separate things. Now, I'm not saying like it needs to be like a hard and fast rule where one of you needs to be in another room and the other one needs to be in another, and you just don't talk to each other and don't see each other. Some couples are okay with working together. You know, there's couples who own businesses together and stuff like that. So obviously there are couples that can tolerate being around each other a lot more than others. We have just found it easier that if we our day-to-day working from home routine is in separate rooms, it's just easier for us, and we're not on top of each other. And I'm not saying to him, oh my god, you just ate that, why don't you put that in the bin? Like I'm not, you know, getting my OCD cleaningness in his face and irritating him, and he's not messing up my space. So it's just around creating boundaries. Like what are your personal boundaries? That's what you need to talk about with your partner, is then figure out what kind of space you need from one another in the day. And once you kind of figure that out, then it's just easy for you to communicate and work around one another. Secondly, I think one of the best ways to avoid arguments is to figure out like what your chores are and who's going to do what. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because when Kesh and I were working, we had a routine. We knew who was doing what in the day and how we were doing things. And, you know, that was very, like, we were quite lucky in a way when we moved out. We just sorted that out pretty quickly. And that whole routine has now changed. He's at home a lot. Gone from him being completely gone from like 5 in the morning to sometimes not being back at 8, 9 at night to him being around all the time. We were coming from a routine where I was doing a lot of the cooking. Now it's like he's involved and he's involved in the mix. So I think there's no hard and fast rules again for anyone, but I think that the next best way to like stop arguments and really just calm the tension down, figure out who's doing what, like who's doing what chore, who's gonna cook on what day, and also like manage expectations earlier or in advance. Like for me and him, there's like really no like hard and fast rule. One day he maybe cooks another day, or I'll cook 2 days in a row, or he'll cook 2 days in a row. But for us, what rule works is like whoever cooks then cleans. The first week that we were in this lockdown, Kesh pretty much cooked every single day because he was like, I haven't cooked for ages. But the key thing is communication, because I think what can end up happening, you don't know what's happening from the beginning of your day. That's what causes arguments. It's like telling somebody last minute that they have to do something is what really causes arguments. So what we tend to do, and what I found the best, is like in the morning just decide, okay, these are the chores for the day, this is what needs to be done, this is the laundry that needs to be done, the dishwasher needs to be turned on, or whatever needs to be done for the day. Who's going to do that? The key thing in all of this is communication, and communicating in a calm way. One thing, you have your own routine, you know what's going on. The littlest thing I find in this lockdown can really just like escalate very, very quickly. Calmly setting the boundaries, figuring out who's going to do the chores. Those little things may not mean anything. And you know, if you're a couple that absolutely get along and you're having the best time and you're always in your honeymoon phase, you may not even need these kind of things. But honestly, if you are bickering over little things, and I know Kesh and I do, we definitely do, but the more we communicate with each other, the more it stops that little bickering from escalating to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, and then turning into an argument. Having an argument in this time is probably like the worst thing that you can do, because you've got nowhere to go. What's he gonna do? Go and sit in the car? What am I gonna go and do? Go and sit in the car and do like a little round? Get stopped by the police and be like, where are you going? Oh, I'm sorry, officer, I had an argument with my husband, I've just taken a drive around. Communicate as much as you can. Set your boundaries. Decide at the beginning of the day who's doing what, so there's just no conflict. But there should be a compromise as well. Like I've said to him on a few days, I really can't be asked to cook today, and I know it was my turn, can you do it? He's turned around and said, yeah, no problem, I'll do it. And vice versa. He would tell me, oh, you know what, I'm playing Xbox with the lads right now, I'm not going to get time. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do it. Flexibility is what you need in this situation. Flexibility to just like pick things up and take things out. Obviously, knowing that you're not taking the piss out of each other, but flexibility in this kind of thing will help you avoid arguments like crazy. Something to avoid arguments and like generally keep the peace in your relationship is to do certain things together. And that doesn't mean everything, because like, you know, I've already explained to you how we work actually better doing most things separate and then having those really nice dinners together. There's a limited amount of things that we can do at the moment, and that's probably the hardest thing. Even like for our 11-year anniversary, we were stuck at home. It didn't even feel like our anniversary. It wasn't great. I've heard that so many couples are trying to do date night. They do date night, they cook a nice meal, and they'll eat together and they'll have a quick like date night. That actually doesn't work for Kesh and I. Like we've tried to do date night at home and it just doesn't work. But we do other things too. We love watching movies together. The thing is, you might turn around and say like, that's lame, but that works for us. And that's what I mean. You have to find that thing that you like doing together. I would fully go and play Xbox with him. I just think that that's his thing. And some things at this point in time need to be his thing, and some things at this point in time need to be my thing. Another thing that we've been doing together is yoga. So we will try and do yoga or some sort of exercise together. I will admit, like in the last week or so, it hasn't been amazing, but That's another thing. So those are two things, that we either watch movies and relax and have our downtime together when we're not stressed out, we're not doing anything else, or we will do some sort of exercise together, because it just encourages each other. Like, he is very self-motivated in terms of exercise. He gets up and he does it. I, on the other hand, literally have to be forced, which is ironic because I'm trying to get my knee better, but I have to be forced. So we try and do some sort of exercise together. So we've had like 2 big arguments here while this lockdown has been going on. But when we've had those 2 arguments, they have stood out to me more than any other argument that we've had, because everything feels so intense. Like, we are in each other's face. Like, it's just too much. Like, and I'm the sort of person who's like very naggy when there's an argument, and he's like, just leave me alone. And there's no space. There is absolutely no space. So the best thing to do is just try and avoid them in the first place. Try and calm down as quickly as possible. I'm talking to myself while I'm saying this. Normally, for relationships in general, it's good to have a healthy balance between your partner and your family members and your friends. You should also be giving time, energy, and love to other people in your life. You can't do that at the moment. I can't just go out and see my girlfriends and have a time where I can just vent and tell them my feelings. If I'm mad at Kesh, he's in the next room. I can't just call my girlfriend and complain about it. And this is what I mean. Like, we're stuck in a place where we cannot vent. And especially for women, that's like a big issue. There's no kind of outlet. What I try and remember is gratitude. And what I mean by gratitude is that if we're one of the lucky ones who are not financially as impacted, or for example, who have lost their jobs and are not a key worker on the front line, or have not been affected by the coronavirus directly or indirectly with our family members or friends, we should just be grateful. And even if it's grateful in the sense of just sitting in front of the TV and watching Netflix, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And that within itself, that gratitude just helps you when you're having a bad day. And it just helps you realign when you're about to get really angry at your partner or your spouse or your family member or whatever. One of the things that might be nice, if you're into it and you have the time, do something special for your partner. That will completely change the game up. Do something nice for them. Create a craft. Maybe write them a letter. Cook them dinner. Make them a nice dessert. All of these little things at the moment really, really go a long way. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you have any thoughts on what I just said. How are you guys managing things? Like, any people who are in relationship with their partners living there, I know I've spoken to a few people and they're like, oh my god, I want to kill my partner. How are you? Are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? Like, what is the situation? I would love to know, and we can talk in the comments. If you aren't following me already, make sure you do follow me at Beauty and the Wife Life, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.